Books presents Burned Bridges by John Gilstrap, narrated by Natalia Payne. Chapter 1. 35 years ago. When Martin and Finn first slid Mark's body out of the bed of the pickup truck, he felt like nothing, even factoring in the dead weight. Skinny in life, Mark was even skinnier in death, so he weighed like nothing. Finn chose to carry the legs because he could use the cuffs of the guy's jeans as handles, leaving the heavier torso for Martin. But then Martin figured out a way to lace his arms around the corpse's arms and carry the load like it was nothing at all. God, that pissed Finn off. Now, 20 minutes into this guy's trek through the woods in the dark while getting torn up by sticker bushes and hoping not to step on a coyote or break a leg in a sinkhole, his bag of bones was getting very damn heavy. "Are you sure this is what your daddy told you to do?" Martin griped as he huffed from the effort. Finn was surprised he'd been able to keep his trap shut this long. "He told you to walk to the end of the world and get rid of this guy? We couldn't have just taken him out on the river and rolled him overboard tied to a rock?" Finn's forearms had been cramping up for the last 5 minutes. He didn't want to argue, because he didn't want to encourage Martin to go on one of his whining sprees. "What I'm sure of is my daddy told me 2 things. One was to get rid of the body where no one would ever find it. Never means forever, and in a river you never know when a dredger or a propeller or a diver is going to turn up anything you've buried." "Like you've done this so many times before, Mr. Teenage Gangster Man," Martin laughed. Finn ignored him. Fact was, they'd both done more gangster shit in their 17 years than most full-time gangsters did in their whole lives. "The second thing was to make sure that if he is found, no one will be able to tell who he is." "He's not even from around here," Martin said. "Who's gonna know who he is?" "The FBI can do that shit, man. You ever heard of fingerprints?" "Of course, I'm not an idiot." He was an idiot, Finn thought, but he was a useful one, and Finn enjoyed his company. "It's not much farther up here," he said. This section of the woods belonged to an older couple who let him hunt here, and over the years, Finn had explored pretty much every inch of the place. He was looking for a patch of ground he'd seen, maybe 1/4 of an acre in size, that was lined with caves that were covered with tangles of impenetrable vines and thorny bushes. A body dumped in one of those caves was as good as buried in the center of the earth. "I can't do this a lot longer, Finn." "And you won't have to because we're here." "Seriously?" "Yep." Martin released his grip and flung his arms wide. The corpse hit the ground with a heavy thud, and the momentum pulled Finn off balance, causing him to fall back and land on the body. A shiver shook Finn's core as a bubble of bile came halfway up his throat. Finn launched on his friend, jumping to his feet and punching Martin hard in the face, sending him to the ground. Then the darkness came. Finn wasn't in charge anymore. His rage ran things now, the way it did sometimes, like last week when it got him suspended from Schattsburg High School forever, and before he knew what he was doing, the hatchet he'd brought along to do that other thing was in his hand and held high in the air over Martin, who was trying to scrabble away. In the light of the moon, Finn could see that Martin was trying to say something, but he only heard sounds. The rage was swallowing the words. The rage wanted him to kill. Finn didn't see how he did it, but somehow Martin had gotten to his feet and was face to face with him. Blood streaked from his nose across his lips, and as he continued to try to speak, bits of bloody spittle hit Finn in the face.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.